Professional Karen and current Nazi wife to Stephen Miller, Katie Miller, is on CNN for some goddamn reason. Let's have a listen and see what she's got to say. I'm sure it is ridiculous and blood-curdling. Look at this face.
That's the question. Yes or no?
Yes, I'm okay. If Nick Fuentes wants to be able to speak freely in our country, he has every right to do so. Do I agree with his views? Do I think that they should become mainstream in our country?
Yes or no question.
Absolutely not. But hold on. I really want to go back to this for 1 second.
By the way, Nick Fuentes is a straight-up Nazi. The dude has praised Adolf Hitler numerous times. He thinks he's a really cool fucking guy. That's a quote from him. He runs this group called the Groypers. And the Groypers are all of his little acolytes who want the Fourth Reich of the Nazi Party to happen here in America. Now, the difference between him and the Conservative Party out there is very small. It's a very small difference. The difference is we hate everybody except for Israel and maybe a handful of people who we like. And that is the standard conservative base. They hate black people, they hate brown people, they hate the gays, they hate the trans, they hate women, they hate everybody. They call them all radical leftists and they want to eradicate them. The only difference between them and Nick Fuentes is like, we also hate the Jews and we also hate the Indians as well. We want a complete white national nation. Katie Miller is Jewish along with Stephen Miller, but she doesn't like Nick Fuentes, even though they're all in the same party. Not all Republicans are Nazis, but all Nazis are Republican.
But this isn't about whether he can speak freely. It's about whether someone like Tucker Carlson, who is a very powerful force in the conservative movement.
You host people on your show all the time who call my husband and myself a Nazi. So how is that any different from Tucker Carlson going on?
Well, honey, you guys are acting like Nazis. I mean, seriously. You are doing the American Gestapo. You are running around arresting brown people. You're asking people for their fucking papers. How much more Nazi could you be? I guess you need the SS armband. That would be the completion of this Nazi turn.
Nick Fuentes is actually
he's anti-Semitic.
He's anti-Semitic.
A Hitler admirer. Nick Fuentes is actually a Hitler admirer.
But he literally is not a good human being.
That is a different thing.
Excuse me, you have Jennifer Welch on your show very often, and you've never pushed back as she's...
Ooh, I heard that. Going after Jennifer Welch of the I've Had It podcast, which, by the way, she's absolutely right calling Katie Miller and Stephen Miller both Nazis, because that is exactly what they fucking act like. Does this woman never not have her mouth wide open? Oh my God.
My husband, a white nationalist.
Hold on.
That is no different than Nick Fuentes going on Tucker Carlson's show. It's not, and you should admit it.
Well, hold on.
Well, there's a vast difference between Nick Fuentes going on Tucker Carlson's own personal show. He's not on Fox News anymore. He's got his own fucking show. I'm not defending either one of them. I can't stand Tucker Carlson nor Nick Fuentes. But having Jennifer Welch come on CNN to talk about a whole bunch of other things, she's a fucking interior designer, man. Just because she called you a Nazi doesn't mean that you get a pass on this subject here. Abby Phillip'S is having you on her show.
Wait, hold on. How is it anything similar? It's not remotely similar at all. Nick Fuentes sits around and says that he likes Hitler. How is that similar
What does Katie have to do with it? What does she have to do with it?
Hold on.
She has nothing.
What does she have to do with it? She just said he has every right to say what he wants to, and he has the freedom of speech to do so. I'm not saying that Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson don't have a right to say what they want to say, but we have a right to call them Nazis when they act like Nazis. That's what freedom of speech is, y'all. She's getting all caught up in her fifis about, how dare you criticize the Republican Party when you let people come on your show and you call me a Nazi? Well, honey, that's freedom of speech, baby. Suck it up. Stop being such a bitch, little Karen. There's no manager to complain to. You're not going to get a refund on your fucking salad that you ate all of.
Hold on.
Literally nothing.
Scott, Katie is the person who just said to me that it is comparable to say that Nick Fuentes, who is literally a neo-Nazi, is the same as somebody, a liberal, who has an opinion, who is not a neo-Nazi.
A hateful opinion.
Not.
Jennifer Welch is a interior designer or decorator by trade. She is popular on YouTube, and she was brought in on CNN to share her opinion on many different things. Comparing that to a Nick Fuentes who has been a straight up full-on fascist nationalist his entire public life. It's not apples and oranges, honey. It's not even the same fucking sport.
A hateful opinion.
The same.
How do you want? Excuse me. Just let's go back to this point one more time.
But
Nick
Katie,
Fuentes can espouse an opinion on Tucker Carlson's show,
it is not
and
the same
he didn't push
thing.
back the same way you didn't push back when someone called someone in my family
Hold
a
on
Nazi.
a second.
It's not different.
Hold on a second.
It's not.
If someone comes on this show and says, "I love Hitler and I admire,"
well, look at that little pouty face. She's so sad. She's so sad. How's that podcast working out for you there, Sweet Pea?
what he did, they would never, first of all, I would never invite them on the show and they would never be invited back. So those two things are not the same thing.
But yet you've gone on Jennifer Welch's podcast. It's the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
What I think is so, what I find
She's
so,
such a
Katie, but hold on,
delicate
Katie.
little bitch.
No, we can
do you
agree to
believe that
disagree.
Jennifer Welch has a right to say something negative about your husband?
The same way Nick Fuentes has the right to say what he wants to say.
So you think you think that it's okay? Hold on. Do you think it is okay for Jennifer Welch?
Why is she even on here? Seriously. I know the answer to that. Stephen Miller is Donald Trump's boy, and that's his wife. So they're trying to play this both sides thing, but Abby Phillip'S is doing the best she can with the situation that she's in. She's got Scott Jennings, who honestly should have his lips stapled shut because nothing he ever says makes any fucking sense. He is a dipshit. But having her on, and I've noticed she's been getting on the news quite a bit, and she sucks at this. She is not good at this at all. She just comes off like a whining little Karen every time she's on a program. But here we are, just crazy ass stuff.
Is she allowed to say something negative about your husband?
Absolutely, and it's your job as a moderator then to push back.
So that's the first thing.
It's the same way you're asking Tucker Carlson to push back against Nick Fuentes.
But hold on, Nick Fuentes.
Is it not different?
Nick Fuentes is espousing. He's not describing someone else as a Nazi. He is saying, I admire Nazis. You don't think that's a different thing?
Do you believe my husband's a Nazi? You allow someone on your show to say it.
Do you think those things are different or not?
I don't think anybody
it's
around
the same equitable comparison for Nick Fuentes to go on Tucker Carlson's show as you to have people to have on your show.
I think that Stephen Miller and Nick Fuentes are very simpatico. I think that they believe in all of the same things. The only difference between Nick Fuentes and Stephen Miller is that Nick Fuentes wants to get rid of Stephen Miller too because he is Jewish. And the irony of it all is that Nick Fuentes' family comes from fucking Mexico. In his perfect world of white nationalism, he would end up getting deported too. We've got two warring groups of fascistic nationalists who want to kick everybody that is not the pure race according to themselves. But both of them would go in this scenario. And somebody like me would end up staying because I am more pure white than both of them. But I don't believe in that shit. I believe in multiculturalism. I believe that we should have all the walks of life in America. I believe what it says at the base of the Statue of Liberty. Give me your poor and your huddled masses yearning to live free. But neither one of Nick Fuentes, Katie, or Stephen Miller believes in that shit. They think that they are the superior race, and they scream and yell and bitch and moan to the manager about it. And by the way, I've said this before, but Katie Miller and Stephen Miller sound exactly the same, like a couple of bitchy little pissed off Karen Californiaites who are just mad at the world because I'm not getting it my way. Well, bitch, this ain't Burger King. You know what I'm saying?
You are making a comparison of two things that are not in any way the same. I acknowledge and listen, when
acknowledge more than once, Abby.
But hold on.
At one point, it's a common occurrence.
When people say their opinions, I don't endorse them, but I also am not responsible for their opinions.
So doesn't that apply to Tucker Carlson?
That is different from a person themselves.
No, honey, because the problem with white nationalists and Nazis is that they want to use the democratic process to win power and then take the democratic process away from everybody else. People who believe in liberty and freedom, they want to maintain liberty and freedom. Fascists want to use liberty and freedom of speech and democracy to win power and then take all of that away from everybody that they do not deem worthy. That is the difference. I don't debate fascists because they are being nefarious in the way they're debating. They are using the debate process to win power so they never have to debate again, and then kick out anybody that they do not feel is up to the standards of their pure white nationalist bullshit ass heritage.
Describing themselves as a hate monger.
Is Tucker Carlson responsible for Nick Fuentes' opinions?
But Hilda.
Well, a little bit, I would say yeah, because he invited him on his program. He gave him a shiatsu massage and a little hand job under their table, told him, I've been so excited about having you on my program. I'm not here to police speech. I'm here to say that fascists are fascist, and the shit that they say is not in support of democracy. And if you are saying stuff that is against democracy, I don't think that you should have a right to speak. I'm sorry. Freedom of speech, sure, absolutely. But if you are using your freedom of speech to take away everybody else's freedom of speech, that's bullshit. It's like, I believe in tolerance, but being tolerant of people who are intolerant does not wash, because eventually they will get power and then they do not have any tolerance for your ass. So no, straight up white nationalist Nazi types like Nick Fuentes, I'm sorry, man, they shouldn't be in the fucking discourse. They should legitimately be canceled from all of this shit.
On a second, I am also not a Republican Party official or a Democrat Party official.
Neither is
and so
Tucker
I'm
Carlson.
asking you about you as a Republican and who you think is the leader of your party, right?
Right
and
now it's President Donald Trump.
And I'm asking your opinion, okay? If you think that J.D. Vance is that person, do you think that he should be sitting at a table and nodding along with Nick Fuentes, yes or no?
Also, Donald Trump hosted Nick Fuentes at fucking Mar-a-Lago, along with Kanye West and I can't remember that other dude's name who used to be gay and no longer gay, and he works on QVC. I fucking can't remember. It'll come to me later. You guys probably already know who I'm talking about, but Donald Trump hosted them all at Mar-a-Lago. So I guess Donald Trump doesn't have a problem with Nazis being Nazi, and let's not pretend like Kanye West didn't lose his fucking shit. He literally wrote a song called Hail Hitler. Are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, the leader of your party is okay with Nazis.
I don't believe J.D. Vance has ever sat and nodded along with Nick Fuentes.
Do you think that Tucker Carlson? Do you think it is okay for J.D. Vance to think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to sit and nod along with?
I think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to have Nick Fuentes on the show the same way you have people on your show who espouse similar views.
Hold on, that's all I asked you. And
honey, Jennifer Welch does not have similar views. Jennifer Welch is calling him out as a Nazi. She's also calling you out as a Nazi and your fucking racist ass husband.
You can just leave it at that, because at the end of the day, that is what the Republican Party has to decide. Do they care whether or not someone who has a loud voice in their party is bringing on somebody who is encouraging neo-Nazism?
Wait,
and if you think that is
okay,
wait, if you think that's okay, let's go back to the murder of Charlie Kirk. Let's go back to the murder of Charlie Kirk. Should we?
So we have to leave.
Oh, she just wants to go back to Jennifer Welch. Look, the Nick Fuentes wing of the Republican Party is winning. The other side is Mark Levin and Ted fucking Cruz. These old boomer types who are losing power. We are racist against everybody except for the Jews. Well, here you've got Nick Fuentes going, but I don't like the Jews either. Let's just keep it all white. Let's just be straight up white nationalists. That is the more pure, distilled version of the conservative movement that is happening right now. You're not going to be able to out purity the one who has got the most purity. You can't say, I hate everybody and I'm racist against everybody except for this one group. when you've got somebody like Nick Fuentes going, but I don't like that one group either. And if you're in that group, you got to go too. I think that Republican constituents and Republican voters are able to live or travel down the river denial. They are willing to put that kind of stuff out of their minds. But people like Katie Miller, Stephen Miller, Donald Trump, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, they all know the meaning of these words. They all understand what Nazism is and what fascism is and what white nationalist authoritarianism is. They understand those concepts. I don't know why somebody like Ted Cruz or Mark Levin thinks that we are able to be racist and bigoted towards all other groups except for a handful that they pick and choose, when eventually it's just going to get to a point where it's white and white only, and that's it. And Nick Fuentes, his star is on the rise at the moment, and I think all of the rest of the Conservative Party, they're all living in a dreamland. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.